The thoughts and opinions on Just Some Podcast are of the hosts and guests and do not represent the views of organizations that employ them or they volunteer for. They are also not responsible for spontaneous black holes or nuclear wars that may occur. You have been warned.
Welcome, everybody, to another fun-filled and exciting episode of Just Some Podcast. This is Tom.
Hey, this is Ben. Tom, man, how's it going, bud?
It's going good. I don't know, like that. It's hot. It got like really nice for a while, and I was like, wow, it's been pretty mild. And then ass crack sweat season started up again, apparently in Ohio. So,
but do you have to chew your air before you breathe it? No, so I don't want to hear it.
Yes. No, again, as usual, I prefer everything where I live, and I don't have that problem. But yeah, I do remind people of that, though. I'm like, hey, I've lived some other places where it gets so hot, you're just praying for your sweat to try and keep you cool. So don't complain too much.
Yeah, the way that I seen the weather explained in the Midwest, I thought was a great analogy, was take the thickest blanket that you have, get it soaking wet, throw it in the dryer for 10 minutes, and then wrap it around you.
Or set it on fire while it's on it.
Either way, yeah.
Yeah. But no, I am excited. We have had a really good run of guests on the show, and I think tonight's going to be no different. Do you want to take a minute and tell us about our guest tonight?
Why don't you, Tom?
Well, I would, except I just met her. I just met her. She's a girl. And
good job.
Unfortunately, as I found out pre-show, a Bruins fan, so I almost cut her off. Like, is there a mute button? But yeah, go ahead, Ben, I guess, you traitor.
So, we are still working on our odd job series in healthcare. And so Lindsay actually reached out to us because not of her main position that she has, but some of the secondary work that she does. So Lindsay, hey, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
So you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Lindsay. I'm currently a nurse practitioner. I do live in the Midwest, currently in Michigan, sitting in an air-conditioned house. I know, sorry. I'm really a masshole. It doesn't count. I currently do not have any SWAS like the rest of the Midwest because of the heat. And I work in cardiology, and I'm a heart failure nurse practitioner, and my side job, which is a little bit odd, is I'm a yoga teacher for nurses. So I teach nurses yoga for self-care. And my business is called Yoga Health Nurse. So I reached out to you guys to chat about my odd job and how it can help nurses of all kinds, advanced nurse practitioners, regular nurses.
I was waiting. I was like, what other type of nurse is she going to mention? Like, nurses that do things like nurse. Like, okay.
PAs, MDs, DOs, it will not help them.
No, they're excluded.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Sucks to suck is my new saying the past couple weeks. So, yeah. So we were talking a little bit pre-show, and I think Lindsay is going to fit in great. And I want to say I've actually heard of not this specifically, so I was super excited when Ben showed me the messages. But I know some ER nurses here that got together as a big group and were going to yoga for a while. And I was like, oh, that's pretty awesome. So when you sent us that message, I was like, this is fantastic. Hopefully there are more people that are interested or that we can reach and say, hey, here's something really cool that you can do for yourself. And I would point out to anybody, I look like a ballerina. a 300-pound ballerina, but ballerina. And yoga, I've done it, and I thought it was fantastic. And so I'm actually really super excited to learn some more about what you do, how you do it, and etc.
Perfect. Yeah. So what we usually say is yoga is for every body, meaning even if you're 300 pounds,
Oh, she's like, hey,
300-pound ballerina, you're good.
yeah, no, I can almost hear it in her voice where she's like, yeah, fatty, even you can get in here.
Hey, no.
It's
a
okay.
No judgment zone.
It's okay, Miss Lindsay. So Ben has this thing he really likes to do, and I think we should fit it in now because I can already feel that we're gonna go places with this
conversation. It's gonna blow up. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So hey, Ben, why don't you regale her with the social media shout out?
Well, I will, but before I do that, I just thinking of you and yoga, Tom. I'm thinking you're gonna walk into that class and get it started. And you're going to be like, I didn't realize this was a hot yoga class. And she's going to be like, it wasn't. That's just you sweating.
That's just you sweating profusely. So when we get to the show, I will tell you about the first time I did yoga. And that's not far off. So
But on that note, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're all at Just Some Podcast. You can find us on the web. We're at www.justsomepodcast.com. We're also on our podcast hosting device. I'm gonna try that again.
Why? Leave it.
We're also on our podcast hosting device at justsomepodcast.libsyn.com. You can also find us on Helium Radio. That's Helium Radio After Dark Channel 2. We're on there Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. Tom, other than YouTube that I forget again, we're also on YouTube. Tom, what else can they do?
Did you mention Helium?
I did.
Okay. Sorry, I was making notes. I can't pay attention to everything, Ben. So they can tell their friends and family to shout out and listen to us. They can give us some reviews on any of those social media sites, or just reach out and contact us. We would really appreciate that. We love hearing from y'all. They can go to our website, and at the bottom there's an Amazon affiliate link. They can click on that, it takes them to Amazon. They can do any of their shopping that they feel like. For instance, I know for a fact there's yoga mats on Amazon. You can go buy one of those. It helps out the show, costs you nothing extra, and you can move about your day doing whatever you want, probably wearing yoga pants and not doing yoga, who knows. So Miss Lindsay, what social media or anything do you want to talk about?
Well, you can find me on the World Wide Web, www.yogahealthnurse.com. I'm also on Instagram at Yoga Health Nurse, and Facebook is Yoga Health Nurse as well.
And as always, if you do want to find her, you can always click on the show notes below because all of her information will be listed there as well.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm still.
Depends how this goes.
Yeah, no. It started off on the wrong foot when you said you lived in Michigan. I was like, I know you said you're from Massachusetts, but
yeah,
I know where you're at now. Okay,
I got two strikes.
Yeah, exactly. That's just terrible.
So we can probably talk to them and have the link go to something like screw Michigan and
yes. Oh,
I'm a transplant. I don't really count.
Right,
well, yeah, no. So if that wasn't bad enough, to make things even worse, and I know a longtime listener, Danica, you're gonna love this. She's a huge Bruins fan, and so when I heard that, I almost just unplugged. Nope, done, can't do this. So now I know at least 2 Bruins fans in my life, and it just made it worse. Actually, it was already bad enough knowing 1, and now 2. It's like carrying sand around. It's just this is terrible. So, all right. So, Ben.
Yes, sir.
I am sure you have got some kind of wonderful story.
I do. And,
yes. Well, and you haven't mentioned it at all. That's what worries me.
No, it's really not bad.
Okay.
So, but before I do the story that you may have missed, Tom, I want to take a quick poll of you and Lindsay. So.
That's a wide data plot right there, my friend.
Are you sure?
I am sure.
I plan on publishing this study as well. It's
yes, and up to yes.
Multitasking, Tom. Are women better than men, or men better than women, or what? What do you think?
Well, oh God.
Oh.
So I'm gonna say this. How many women landed on the moon? 0. So there you go. So
We didn't even land on the moon. It's a conspiracy.
oh,
For
No,
men.
no, come on now.
oh God.
That
Okay, this is the shortest episode of Just Some
Yeah.
Podcast.
That was
Thanks
the
for
only
being on.
comeback I had.
No, on it. Okay, so getting back into actually answering this, I would say there are a great many things that I think women are better at multitasking at. But when it comes to maybe a specific operation like aircraft or, you know, landing the lunar module on the moon, I'm going with guys. So I'm going to say women overall, unless it's a specific function, then I'm going to give it to men.
okay, Lindsay.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, I disagree.
Shocker.
I mean, innately, we were born to multitask. That's why women can have multiple orgasms, right? I mean, come on, over a man.
Is that where we're going already?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. That was last episode.
Yeah.
Well, I like the thought process, Lindsay, but because I was going to say you're right. You were born innately to do that, like cook and clean and do laundry. So there you go. You got me on. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm not nearly as chauvinist as this is making me out to be because I'm mostly doing this to rip her. But boy, this is going to come across poorly.
I think we're gonna start hockey fighting pretty soon.
Yeah, that's fine. Tossing
Drop
gloves
the
in a
gloves.
minute. Yep.
Drop the gloves.
All right. So you think women are born better at tasking?
Oh yeah, like innately, yeah. But as you grow up, I think we are. I think we're better at multitasking. I think if you give a man 3 things to do, they don't know what to do.
Okay. Again, I would say overall, I would agree with that. But then when it comes to doing one specific thing, like I was saying, flying the space shuttle, I think the guy, maybe it's because of motor function or the concrete thinking aspect. I think when it comes to that, they can do multiple things.
That's just because men were the only ones that had the opportunity at that time to fly the space shuttle to the moon. Hello, Hidden Figures. Have you not seen that movie?
Okay, they were all mathematicians. You know how many of them flew anything in Apollo? 0. So there you go.
Yeah, but if it wasn't for their math skills, none of that would have happened.
We would have figured it out eventually. I'm kidding. Okay, look, I'm just saying. I think. Okay, again, let's go back. So there are women that compete in something like race car driving. Ben is just like cringing, and I'm trying to make. Okay, women drive race cars, correct? And how many of them are champions?
Well, when you
what?
I don't know NASCAR.
Okay, so let me give you one guess.
Wow. I'm sorry I asked this question.
I know, like Danica. Is that her name?
Danica Patrick, and she's 1-0.
Well, she's one woman.
That was going to be, I was going to have to side with that, Tom. You're talking one in the field of 50.
Yeah. What he said.
Anyway.
Yes.
No, you're done.
How does it feel to be a man in a nurse's world?
Well, I think that might be a whole separate episode. And Lindsay,
It will be. Yes.
Lindsay proffered it, so I think we have to have Lindsay back for it. But I don't.
Hashtag mercy.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't. That's a whole nother episode. But okay, again, I think there are plenty of nurses that could run circles around me. So I mean, female women nurses that are far superior than I am at nursing. So I'll give you that. I'm just saying that what I'm sticking to. And Ben's giving me the shut the fuck up look. So Ben, would you like to continue now?
Yeah. Hey, how's it going? So.
Oh, hey, Ben. Hey.
Yeah. Hey. I'm still over here.
Welcome
You
back,
could have
Ben.
stopped me at any time, Ben.
No, once that Tom train gets rolling, there's no stopping it. It's okay. So, whether it's the result of anecdotal evidence or gender stereotyping, the belief is that women are better at multitasking than men, and that's a very prevalent belief. Matter of fact, in a 2015 survey, 80% of the respondents were convinced that women had better multitasking abilities than men. So there was a group in Germany who set out to put the stereotypes to the test. They had 96 participants, 48 men, 48 women, to take part in two types of tests, a task switching one and a dual tasking one. The results of the experiment revealed that multitasking took its toll on reaction time and accuracy in men and women equally. The multitasking cost on these two measures were significant and comparable between men and women. The present findings strongly suggest there's no substantial gender differences in multitasking performance across task switching or dual task paradigms.
That's what I meant to say.
So you're both wrong.
That was in Germany, though.
Oh, God.
Now we're bagging on the German.
Totally irrelevant.
They are fine engineers, people.
They built the Beamer, yes.
We were talking about the United States difference between the men and the women.
Oh, my God. There was a beer commercial for a German beer. And this guy standing up there, you know, Germans are stereotypically, since we're talking about that, known for no sense of humor. And it looks like it's a nightclub, like he's a stand-up comedian. And he goes, of course, you have to imagine a German accent. I can't do that part. I'm terrible at it. But he's like, how many German engineers does it take to change a light bulb? And everybody's all quiet. And he's like, none if it's been engineered properly. Thank you. And he just like walks off. And I'm like, wow, that is brilliant if you think about how that whole thing went down. I think it's just fantastic. But no, I was going to say, I think women and men are equal because that's how the world works, Lindsay. That's what I was going to say. So.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, Tom. I mean, I don't think there's any inequality between men and women in the United States.
No. That's what I was saying. See, look at this, Ben. You have brought me and Lindsay together.
Unified as one.
There you go.
Glad that I was able to be here to assist with that. Yeah.
It only took 18 minutes to make that happen. So.
But that's our story. So, yeah, there's no difference in multitasking.
That's our story. Operation Jumblefuck is what we're going to call that. Oh, Ben, I love you, man.
Yeah. Hey, I love you. All right, you ready to get into our main topic of why we have Lindsay here other than just to pester Tom, apparently?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
All right, so how'd you get into yoga? I guess let's start with that.
Oh, okay. So I got into yoga basically to start stretching because I played ice hockey and I did not take good care of my body through college. And so I just kind of started on the mat through stretching and then practiced here and there. And then I kind of went through a pretty rough time in my 20s, the famous breakup story and all that kind of good jazz. So did some self-discovery on the mat through yoga classes. And then I decided that I wanted to become a teacher. But before that, basically I was going through some burnout in my nursing career. So I kind of used yoga as a way to help me get rid of that shit. So.
All right.
So what was it about yoga then that you obviously sought it out as a way to help with your burnout and to help with stretching? So what was it about yoga that made you want to do that?
Yeah, I guess I grew up in the Berkshires of Massachusetts. So we have a very famous yoga retreat center there. It's called Kripalu. And I remember when I was like younger, we would drive by and my parents would be like, oh, that's where the hippies hang out. So it was kind of like...
Yeah.
It was not like voodoo, but it was kind of looked at like the weirdos. So, and then growing up, I kind of learned that the cheerleaders or the gymnasts did yoga, you know, people who kind of were a little bit fluffy. I was a little bit more hardcore. So I never really thought that I would actually do it. So I think it took I went to this one class in a gym and I kind of just fell in love with it there. The teacher was phenomenal. And then I went to a couple more classes and just kind of discovered that it's more than just the movement on the mat for stretching, and kind of got into a little bit more breath work, and I kind of felt good after every single time. And then I was kind of on the prowl a little bit too, so surprisingly there were some men in the rooms. So I would go and try to show off. But again,
fair enough. Yeah.
did not work.
Hashtag yoga pants.
But yeah, for yoga, like it's for nurses especially, it's just a really good way to get on a usual like routine of self-care for your stress relief. I worked on a cardiac floor for a long time. Obviously, dealing with heart failure patients, it's the readmissions, keep coming back in, frequent flyers. You try your hardest to help them, and it just kind of gets easy to get burnt out. So I needed an outing, and this was after college, after I stopped playing ice hockey. I kind of like graduated to the beer leagues. I continued to play, but I needed some kind of other outing. So I journeyed onto the mat.
So obviously there were some good reasons why you picked yoga. Did you ever consider anything else, like lifting weights, CrossFit, anything else? Or was it just like you found yoga and you knew that's what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I found yoga and it kind of started to like reveal the softer side of me, which it revealed like my more of like my authenticity. And then it kind of, because growing up, like I was a tomboy, and I totally swear, like I'm known, I've gotten so much better at it, but been known to have like a trucker mouth. But it kind of helped me to evolve into like more of a decent human.
Jesus
say.
Christ.
Okay, wait. Can we sign Tom up for this?
Yeah.
Hey, Tom likes yoga.
Yeah.
Okay. Tom needs to find time to get to yoga. That's the problem.
Okay. It's another whole excuse we can talk about, but
It is completely excused. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
yeah, I'm sorry. What was the question? I completely forgot.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes. Anytime you two get a chance to take the old kidney shot to Tom, you guys forget what the fuck you're talking about. What the question was is, so had you looked at anything else? But I mean, I think you answered it. Like you started to develop.
I currently CrossFit. I actually call it cross-fatting to CrossFit. So I'm trying to get a little fitter. So I use that kind of as like my upper, and then my yoga is kind of like my balance.
So how many days a week or anything? Like, okay, let's start at the beginning. How often were you doing it in the beginning? What has it developed into? Like, do you do it every day, or, how did it start, and how long did it take you to get to now?
Okay, so when I started, I would do a 60-minute class 3 times a week. And then I would kind of like dabble some things here and there, like on YouTube or like an app or something. And then I started to incorporate more, but like for less time, like 10 minutes in the morning before I would go to work. And then I started to like incorporate meditation in there and breath work. So a lot of the stuff that I do now and the stuff that I have nurses do through my programs is really quick stuff because, like you mentioned, you don't have time. So if you have 60 minutes a day, you should show up to a class. But if you don't, there's still stuff that you can do that'll bring at least some benefit to you that a full yoga class can. So as my years, I've been doing yoga for, I want to say like 9 years. So now I'm usually like every day I'll do a little bit of something. I don't go to a class every single day. I try different types of yoga because when you teach a certain style, it's hard, for me at least, to go into another style class and kind of become the student. So it's just something that I'm doing. So I actually tried hot yoga this year for the first time. I never took it before. So that was quite an experience.
And I don't want to hog everything. I'm sure Ben's got something, but it's funny. Fine. It's kind of cool that you mentioned hot yoga. I don't remember if it was 60 Minutes or HBO Sport. I saw something on hot yoga, and that's actually what made me go. And actually, I think it was bad. All right. I think that the point of the story was like, it was something not good. But as they were talking about what hot yoga was to like lead into the story.
Yeah.
I started going, that's pretty cool. I've never really thought about yoga. I'd always been like into powerlifting and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But when I saw that, I was like, that looks like a challenge that I would really want to enjoy. So do you have a favorite style? What style do you teach? Stuff like that.
I currently teach a vinyasa style, which basically is movement and breath work. So you do a lot of, as you do the movements, you like either inhale or exhale, depending. And then I just kind of do like a flow, like a regular one that you would kind of see on TV. It's more of like the generalization yoga, I would say, that you would see. Hot yoga, I took Bikram, which is, I believe it's 104 degrees in the room. And
Wow.
you go through a certain amount of postures, and you go through it twice. And I almost passed out the first class that I took because I did not eat well before and I did not hydrate. And sweating profusely is an understatement in those classes. But I really enjoy that kind of, and I'm really a big like restorative person. I love use bolsters and blocks and straps, and it's not that kind of stuff, but the tantric stuff, it's not like that. Just to clarify. There's no red room there. But you just kind of get into these poses and you hold them for a long period of time, and it's just supposed to like relax you. So if you use, like, I teach CrossFitters yoga at my CrossFit gym, and basically like if you use that kind of exercise, one that gets your sympathetic nervous system going, the restorative yoga is the one that's going to kind of like take you into the parasympathetic world, which is what we really need more of, most of us in the world, because it'll decrease stress and inflammation and disease in the body.
One of the things I've been seeing a lot on social media as of late are these, I don't necessarily want to call them gimmick classes, but like the
goat
yoga, alpaca yoga. But I mean, is that legit yoga? Is that just a way to get somebody in the door?
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it is whatever gets somebody to the mat, but like you're literally not going to be able to experience their traditional way of yoga when you have a goat or a cat or a dog like right next to you. And if they like shit on your mat or start chewing your mat, or like, it's just not going to be a good experience. So if you want to do it for fun, go ahead. But like if you really want to get into a yoga class and really kind of experience what yoga has to offer for your life, I wouldn't start with goat yoga.
The other one that I've seen a lot of, and it's one of my friends on Facebook who's in Florida, is like elevate yoga. Is that something that you're familiar with?
No, I am not familiar with elevate yoga. I know there's ones with like aerial yoga with like
maybe it's aerial
swings.
yoga.
Yeah, they like it in like hammocks.
Yeah, it's like a big hammock that they are suspended in and doing the yoga poses. So I spoke wrong as far as the name of it, but yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, I would love to try that. I think that probably takes off a lot of, like helps your joints and stuff like that to get into certain postures. Plus, I just love hammocks, so I think that would be really fun.
I would say I'm going to do what I call hammock position, which is where I get in and then go to sleep. And it's totally relaxes all my joints. So,
oh my god! I would just want to give everybody underdogs.
That would be the best class ever.
Yeah. So, side story. I have to share this because this is hilarious. But when I was a nursing student, I always have the most hilarious stories from a nursing student, because I always got like the shit stuff happen to me, literally and figuratively. But I had this patient who was very, very obese, and he was in one of those Hoyer lifts. He was like, this is so bad. But it reminds me of freaking aerial yoga. So I'm going to share it. So he's Hoyer, like he's lifted in the air, and you obviously could tell like he was kind of embarrassed, and he was just like levitating in the air on this big swing. So my dumbass was like, hey, do you want me to give you an underdog?
Oh, awesome.
So that's what I think of aerial yoga. I'm like, that poor son of a bitch. Like, I'm so sorry that I said that to you because that was like not compassionate, and I thought I was funny.
Wait,
What was his response?
Yeah,
That's what I want to know. What did he say?
Oh, it was definitely like a dirty look.
Why?
Really? See, I would have been like,
exactly,
yeah, like,
exactly. Let's say here, young female nursing students like, hey, guy, I'm going to do something to bring some joy to your life. Fuck yeah, let's roll this bitch. So, I mean, I think that's more a talk on him than it is on you. Because honestly, I was like, hell yeah. As both the student and if I was the guy in the lift, both situations, I'm like, that's a win. So yeah, let's make this happen.
I just think he was like embarrassed that he had to like use a lift in the first place.
Well,
fair enough.
And then I'm just like, oh, let me give you an underdog. Make it worse.
Nothing bad can happen underdogging someone in a Hoyer lift. That's what I say. All those nursing students listening out there, go ahead, go for it.
Don't say it. Don't say
it. Just do it. They'll enjoy it more if it's a surprise.
Or do say it and then send me what they responded on. So I don't know.
Asterisk, please don't try this at home.
Yes.
Yeah. So aerial yoga is just a bunch of Hoyer lifts.
Again, I don't see a problem. I'm going to get in this thing, put a TV in front of me. Wife's going to be like, what are you doing? I'm doing yoga, watching the football game. So, like, this is amazing. You got to admit, that'd be comfy as shit. So
probably would, yeah.
You can try partner yoga with your wife.
I will send you some pictures. We've done that. No, we have. We've done that. So
they have. I've seen the pictures. Yeah.
Yeah, you just like play airplane.
Yeah, kind of. That's
pretty much what it looked like. Yeah.
And you know what the best part is? Yoga is so much better apparently when it's on your living room floor with your friends and your wife, and you're all drunk. So that's a great time. So.
I offer to do yoga parties. So I have people get like 4 or 5 of their friends, and they just have like snacks and whatever drinks they want. And then I just go over and take them all through a yoga class. It's so fun.
Because alcohol would make it better. I mean, I'm on board.
Oh, yeah. And it's like lighthearted, like there's tons of people out there that want to try yoga, but they don't think they're flexible enough, or they think they're gonna
fart in class. Let's be honest. That's what. Yeah.
Oh my God, you do not want to hear my first farting story. Actually,
correct.
You probably do.
We do.
Okay. All right. So you will fart in yoga. You just may not get caught doing it, but you just have to let it go. It just has to happen. When I went to one of the big retreats, I won't say where it is, but it was like a tootin' class. Like it was like every 2 seconds, like somebody was farting. It was so hard to keep it serious, but
had to have industrial sized fans.
Here?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're just like okay, or it's like that's just the body relaxing and letting it go.
Yeah, okay.
Just like oh my God.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, that's pretty rough.
In Massachusetts, we call that bullshit. So.
Yeah, so my first class, I'll tell you the story. So it was when I was single, and there was like this really good looking guy in the class. So like we were doing like this legs up the wall thing. So you had to like scoot your butt up against the wall and put your legs up there. So I don't know what happened.
Nachos.
Yeah, so I ended up who knows? Well, my body was so wrecked back then anyway. I don't even know what I was trying to get rid of. So I put my legs up the wall and I farted doing it, and he looked at me, and then I literally tried to remake the sound by dragging my heel down the wall.
Nice.
To be like, I didn't fart. It's just my heel. Look. And it totally didn't happen. But anyway, he got up and moved.
What a dick.
Right.
Right?
This is the part of the show. Hey, if a chick's next to you and you're in yoga class and she farts and you are such a douchebag that you get up and move, I hope that guy's listening, and I want you to know that Ben and I think I feel safe to speak on Ben's behalf on this one.
Yes.
You, sir, are a douchebag, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
He
The
should have
only
just held
appropriate-
my hand.
You should have what?
The only appropriate response is to also fart. That would be the only
Exactly.
appropriate response.
And you know what?
Right?
Instant bonding. She would have looked at him and
Yeah,
like,
been like-
it would have been like in the movie, like a little graphic of a heart would have formed over her face. Like, ah.
He clearly was not into me.
What a no.
So,
So yeah, farting's gonna happen. Like it totally is. You just have to laugh it off and not be afraid of it. It's a natural.
so what are some of the positive benefits to yoga? Trying to get us back on track here.
Oh,
There
sorry.
is
Yeah,
no track
No,
anymore.
you're fine.
there is.
Yeah.
We are way off. So the positive benefits of yoga is you obviously will have physical benefits. You'll have flexibility and strength. It definitely has been linked to reduce mental and physical stress. So the inflammatory response in the body will reduce. It's been linked to reduce high blood pressure as well, obviously, so you can use it as like a preventative modality. For mental clarity, you can use it to help with anxiety, depression, PTSD it works well with. So there's just a plethora of benefits, and everybody's different of how, I always tell everybody, like, the first time you show up to the mat, you may not experience the benefits and all the awesome magical wizardry stuff that happens, but you just have to keep showing up, and eventually you'll start to peel away the onion and get to the core and start to experience the practice for what it is supposed to be for you. So tons of benefits.
So let's say someone wants to get started in yoga. So you mentioned there's different types. Is there a specific type that would be better for a beginner so that we're not like just signing up for a hot yoga class and going in there and passing out? Where would you say start here? Like, this is a good...
Yeah, I would say if you've never done yoga before, you would want to start in like a restorative class, which for some people can be very difficult anyway, because you literally may have to stay still for 3 to 5 minutes in each pose. But that way you're not really flowing and trying to keep up with the teacher, because some people get really just overwhelmed if like they're quote unquote like 3 steps behind, or I'm telling you to inhale and you're exhaling. So it's really good just to kind of start there. If you were to like just start to get into yoga, the best way to do it is to get a one-on-one and really just go through like what you want to learn. And then the teacher can guide you through one-on-one of like where you should go. But other than that, you can do like, there's just so many different ways of describing a yoga class now. I use like slow flow, which means like slowly flowing through the class. It's not like a rockin' class or a strength class or a strong class or a power class. Like you just have to read the descriptions, and you can always call like the studio and have them explain it a little bit more to you. But if you've never done yoga before, usually restorative's the way to go to see what your body can do and can like open up to.
So I'd like to take a few minutes and then just talk about your website, Yoga Health Nurse. So you had burnout, and so that's kind of what had kind of led you into yoga. So is that kind of the driving force behind that, or can you just talk a little bit about why and what and kind of go from there?
Sure. So yeah, a lot of my mission, a lot of my why behind Yoga Health Nurse is obviously from my personal story, my personal experience with near burnout. I went through a really rough time with nurse bullying as well, which is kind of surprising for a person like me because I'm pretty outspoken, but it did happen to me on like a travel assignment that I went on. So a lot of that stuff happens, and we're not really given in nursing school the skills and the tools in order to like deal with some of this stress. It's almost just like we're expected to deal with it because everybody looks at us for answers or for care and put ourselves in our self-care last. So I did that personally. I've seen other friends and colleagues do that, and I've actually seen a lot of great nurses like leave the profession. So when I started to go through my own self-development through yoga, then I was like, this is something that I should bring to other nurses. So I started to work in like my local hospital with it. I brought lunch and learns and like did like 10-minute series with some of the nurses there, and that went over really well. And then I just kind of went off of feedback from nurses, and then eventually started to grow a little bit more and a little bit more. And then I took a certified yoga nurse certification through a workshop at the Retreat Kripalu that's in my hometown back in Mass. That basically gives you the certification to work with patients, with other nurses. It kind of just gave me like an extra boost that I needed and sent me into a whole other world of like-minded nurses who wanted to kind of expand consciousness in healthcare. And then from there, I kind of just grew a little bit more and came up with Yoga Health Nurse and grew some workshops that I have now. And it's taken a lot of time. I mean, this didn't happen overnight.
Right.
And so I now like offer 3 signature workshops for nurses. And then I have 1 for nursing students. Because like I said before, we're not really given the skills and the tools that we need in nursing school to really help us with stress and burnout. So I try to kind of bring awareness to them and how yoga can actually help them. And then from there, I have an online program coming out. It's called Move. It's to get the nurses moving on the mat, maybe for the first time, or if they haven't been there in a while again. There's a lot of stuff that the Yoga Health Nurse has brought, not only to my own life, but like other nurses to help them heal and through yoga.
So when you talked about the app, have you done any instructional videos, even short ones or anything like that?
Yeah, so I actually have a YouTube channel. It's under my name, or Yoga Health Nurse, I think you can Google. And then I have a free self-care starter kit, which has like all little videos or less than like 20 minutes. And that just kind of gets you started into self-care. So yeah, I definitely have some videos out there, some meditations, recordings and stuff like that. And then I have a newsletter that I send out to subscribers that will give you free audio and free video and just some nurse life tips and stuff and tricks of staying stress-free or stress less.
Well, and one of the reasons I asked is because, like I said, I haven't done a lot of yoga. I've done it a little bit. And one of the things I notice is I think most people have heard of like downward dog, right? So I would get into that and they would come over and just like move my hand, like rotate my hand so my thumb was pointed a different way. And seriously, it was like a completely different position. And so that's why I was wondering, like in your video, do you stress, hey, make sure this? And that's have you ever noticed anybody saying they have difficulty following your videos, or not your videos specifically, videos in general, because of stuff like that?
Yeah, so what I usually say to that, if you have 60 minutes a day, you should go to a yoga class in person, because you are going to have the instructor be able to help you with those certain cues, or like hands-on assist, which is what sounds like you experienced. But if you need a quickie, then you would go online, for the quick videos.
Yeah, for the quick video. That's what a quickie means. Yeah. Okay.
This is
The yoga quickie. God,
Okay.
Mine's in the gutter again. We lost you.
You said it. So
I just said yoga quickie. That means 30 minutes or less, you're on your mat doing yoga, downward facing dog. No, but if you do practice from an instruction online, there's many great videos out there, but you do have to remember that there's not a teacher watching you. So if you're like brand new, you just have to be really careful with that. And then obviously you have your environment. So like if you have pets, or if you have kids, or, whatever, the phone's ringing or the laundry's going, like you still have stuff that can distract you from the practice. So it is definitely better in-person instruction, I would say, for like the total yoga experience. But the beauty of online teaching is that you literally can do it anywhere and it's at your fingertips.
well, that's awesome.
So, Lindsay, then have you seen a good response from nurses for this? I mean, because you have been there, and so you're maybe more likely to heed what you're saying as far as helping with stress and burnout and things of that nature, because you have lived that life and because you're a nurse.
Yeah, I would say that that's definitely very helpful, definitely in my business personally, but also when you go live, like when I offer to the hospitals and stuff, like most hospitals have Be Well programs, and most of the feedback that I've gotten is like they don't understand you or they don't understand what a nurse has to go through. So it's a little bit different when you're a nurse saying like, I completely get how frustrated you are in these scenarios and
Yeah.
what you have to go through day to day and what the hospital or what the office or wherever you work expects from you and the control you have and the lack of control you have and all that kind of goodness versus somebody who's nothing against them, but like somebody who's a health and a wellness coach who's never been in nursing or doesn't know anything about nursing coming in and trying to tell you to do this certain thing for this long.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, you just don't get it. So yeah, it definitely gives me the upper hand to have a nursing background when you're teaching nurses.
Which I kind of figured that it did. Yeah. So, hey, there, Thomas Day.
Yes, Thomas Day.
Don't think
Yeah, I was gonna make.
that we're going to let you get away
Yes.
without telling us your first yoga story that you hinted at the beginning of the episode.
Oh yeah, so first time, one of the other nurse practitioners I work with, who clearly, she also told me a very similar story that she was a regular at yoga, she attended it all the time, she decided to do a hot yoga, and she's like, half my body went numb and I almost passed out. So when you said it, I was like, damn, what are they doing in those things? But so she told me about where she went. I looked into it and I hauled around and I avoided it. And then eventually I said, screw it, I have a day off, let's go. I drove there by myself. I didn't tell anybody. I was like, didn't even tell my wife. I was just like, okay, you go to work, I'll go here. And drove up there and I signed in, and it's I made sure to find like a beginner, like slow flow.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right. And I'm getting checked in, and I am, and I don't mean this in any bad way, but I am clearly the youngest person there by like 30 years. So I'm like, uh-oh. Like what's going on here, right? So we go in there, and it really cracked me up. Being in there, I didn't know what to expect, to be honest, but I was thinking, okay, I'm going to stand around for a few minutes, and I couldn't have been more wrong. First of all, it was a great experience. If nobody's done yoga and they've never listened to this, it's something I think everybody could do. And I got on the mat, and of course, everybody was so helpful. I didn't know, when you said blocks earlier, I knew exactly what you're talking about, but I realized before that, if you would have said blocks, I'm like, there's blocks in yoga. People were grabbing me stuff, and they're like, oh, you're going to need like one of these, and you're going to do stuff. So it was just a really great time. But the entire time I was doing it, and I'm watching everybody else who has some experience on me, is a really nice way to put it. They're just hanging out, like they're having a great time, and I am like shaking, trying to hold these positions and just sweating. And I'm like, if this is slow flow, I'm about to die. Like this is way harder. So I try and I don't say warn people in a bad way. I'm just like, I thought it was going to be fun, but it was legitimately a good workout, and it was way tougher than I experienced. And I think if I had been able to do it more, like some of the stuff you were talking about, like that connection, you would be able to find it. But I was concentrating so hard on, one, not farting.
Yeah.
Two, trying not to collapse in a heap, while the person next to me, who was clearly like 75, was just standing there doing her thing. And I'm like, I don't know how much longer I can do this. At one point, this is no shit. At one point, I'm doing this pose, and I don't know what it is, like one hand and one knee on the ground, and the other two are stretched out. I thought I was gonna. I think I was gonna go. I kept thinking, Tommy's going down. Tommy's going down. Like I just had this whole like
Thomas Day.
Yeah, Thomas Day, bitches. But I'm just saying, the whole time, and it was only stubbornness and male pride that kept me from not collapsing. Because I'm telling you right now, I was trembling. I was like, oh my God, here we go. And I'm like, how am I going to explain this, that I fucking collapsed here in a second? Like I was trying to make up some story like, oh, I got a bum knee from the war. Like I didn't know what the hell I was going to say. But I knew I couldn't go out like a punk, and I luckily didn't. But it was honestly one of those things that, like you said about making excuses, I've found something else recently that I really like, so that makes it even harder to fit yoga into my schedule. But it's truly one of those things. If I had more time, I would absolutely do it more often. And if nobody has tried it, I can't recommend it enough. So that was my first class. And when I left, everyone was like, "Oh, you did really well." And they look like they just got done walking track. And I am like tallying my face off like, "Yeah, no, that was great." Blech. Trying to
dragging your ass out the door like a dog.
Exactly. I was like, how the hell, but I would also say that it was everybody that was there was totally supportive and was very much like they remembered their first class. So they didn't, there was no rookie punk and like pushing me over or nothing like that. It was very much a very communal, everybody was there and wanted to have a good time. I'm not going to lie though. There was a couple things like when they're like, breathe in, I'm like, I'm breathing now. Like, what the hell is she talking about? Like, I don't like, so I'm not going to say there wasn't a learning curve that I couldn't have expanded on, but I didn't get some of that stuff. I was like, okay. And maybe over time I would, but it was a totally enjoyable thing. And I have never farted in yoga class. So I'm just saying.
You're missing out, man.
Where's that hot chick? I want her to be like, hey, maybe this fat guy's pretty good. I don't know if that's going to win me any bonus points, though.
It's going to be extra muffled when you're hanging from your hammock.
Yeah, exactly.
Waiting for an underdog.
Yeah, I can already see it now. My wife is like, "So how was yoga?" I was like, "Well, this hot chick was checking me out, and then I totally ripped ass." So
But if you do goat yoga or kitten yoga, you can blame the farting on the animal.
Blame it kitten yoga. I did see a beer yoga.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, everything's better with alcohol.
Of course.
True.
Yeah. I clearly you have not listened to the alcohol episode. If it is,
that we have found one thing that's not better with alcohol,
and that is our podcast. Yeah, our podcast. Woo, that's a rough one, but we did it.
That's a lot of editing.
Oh, we had to re-record half the show. So,
yeah.
And I wish I was joking, but I'm not. So
give it a listen sometime if you
yeah go ahead, give it a listen. And I'm gonna follow you on Instagram, and I can't wait to see that message like, Jesus, you guys are terrible. Like, thank you. That's what we were looking for. So we have one thing we have left to do. We do with every guest, but before we do that, is there any last parting information, something you want to make sure the listeners hear or take to heart or anything like that?
Yeah, I want to say that yoga is looked at in the Western world definitely as like a source of exercise, and it definitely is, like you just explained, can give you a kick-ass workout, can definitely make you work muscles that you haven't in years. So if that's the first thing that gets you on the mat, that's great. If it's a goat that gets you on the mat, that's great.
She keeps going back to this goat.
I really want to try goat yoga. But the thing that I take a lot of pride in my teaching is that taking yoga not only on the mat, but off the mat, and really realizing that it's a whole, I'm gonna get really hippie on you guys real quick, but understanding that it's a mind, body, spirit connection in the same way that we learn that in nursing school. And that's why it kind of wraps into nurses so well, is because we're bred about mind, body, spirit connection in our care. And then so that's kind of what yoga does as well. So if you get on the mat for exercise and stretching like I first did, that's great. But eventually, if you keep showing up, you're going to learn more about yourself and your body, which is all we're just trying to do, is slow down the process to the nursing home.
There you go.
I'm not going to make it to a nursing home, so I'm not worried about that.
That is true. Yes.
That is very, very sadly true.
All right. Well, Tom, are you ready for our last segment with Lindsay? I think it's going to be interesting.
Oh, I think so too.
All right.
I'm a little nervous.
Nah, nothing to be nervous about.
All right, let me cue the music up here. Join us on a journey into the inner psyche of our guest as we ask five questions. So, Lindsay, this is 5 questions. We ask the same 5 questions to every guest, and it's just lets us know a little bit more about you. So, the big thing is that Tom will normally says at this point, but I cut him off.
No,
Don't
do
think.
it.
Just give us your first thought.
Okay.
I'm going to ask the questions, and Tom generally sits here and pokes fun at your answers.
Okay.
With that being said, here is question 1. Lindsay, what is your favorite medical word?
Stoma.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
What do you got for that, Tom?
Is there a particular reason why?
No, that was the first thing that came to my mind.
This
Not
chick.
namaste, not, no, just
Yeah.
All right, wait. Ask it again.
No. Just tell us what it is. If it's not stoma, what is it?
Well,
Because
I
when
don't know.
it's staying as stoma, you can add on to it. But you said stoma.
what's your favorite word in yoga?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I like Shavasana. That's my favorite pose. That's the corpse pose.
The corpse
When you
pose.
When you just
Jesus.
play.
What? Oh my God.
I'm going to do yoga tonight then. I'm going to lay there
Yeah,
and be like,
exactly. I'm doing corpse pose for approximately 6 to 8 hours tonight. So
I don't really think I have a favorite medical word. I've never thought of that question before.
that's why we ask it. Yeah, exactly.
that's just question 1. They just get better.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Question 2, Lindsay. If you could do any job in the world other than what you currently do, what would it be?
I would open my own heart clinic and do preventative care through yoga.
But that's what you already do. What else?
But not really.
Take nursing and yoga off the
Yes.
mat. See what I did there?
Oh, that was good. I would be a comedian.
Okay.
Okay. All right. See, we'll take that.
I can be
Okay.
anything I want to be. Maybe
Yep.
I'll be an astronaut and I'll go to the moon to prove
fuck.
you wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, Tom.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So, yeah, well,
All right.
Put that one in there.
yeah.
Question 3. Think back to your first car.
Oh,
Was it a stylish ride or a rolling turd?
it was a Toyota Tercel and I called it the Tic Tac.
So was it a stylish ride or was it a rolling turd?
It was a stylish ride until I had to have a blue bumper on it. Then it was a rolling turd.
You put a blue bumper on it? I'm assuming the rest of the car was not blue at this point.
No, the car was white, hence Tic Tac, because it was little. And then I got in like a rear-ending accident, and my dad got me a bumper from the dump, and it was blue.
Way to go, Dad. He certainly didn't multitask that well.
No.
All right. Question 4. If your house is on fire, everyone, including your pets, are safe. What's the one thing you want to get out of your house?
My laptop.
Why is that?
Yeah, why?
Well, because I have so much stuff on it. If I lost it, all my work would be gone.
As far as like your website and stuff, or like we're not talking charting, I'm assuming, because I mean that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
we don't care about charting.
Yeah, exactly. Oops, I
Yeah.
guess I can't do that tonight. So.
Yeah, I would grab it because it has the most useful information that I could rebuild my life if it burnt down.
Okay. I was going to explain to her in a second, like, you realize how the World Wide Web works, right? Like, it's not just on your computer. So I just want to make sure you were aware of that.
Well, I'm like getting really catastrophic. My house burns down. I have nothing left to buy anything for a while. I need my laptop.
You could have if you grabbed your purse, but you didn't choose that. You chose a laptop.
I could call the credit card company.
Yeah, Tom.
Yeah, stupid me.
Her website's down because her computer's gone and it doesn't work unless it's on her computer.
Yeah, because no other computer could access the internet. That's cool. No, that's all right.
That probably just really shows that I have an addiction to
To
technology.
Oh, technology. Okay. I was going to say.
I'm really trying to think of what else I would grab. Everybody's safe. I mean, I think that would be...
Well, the most popular answer over the last several months is pictures.
Yeah, for some reason everybody wants their pictures.
Oh, they're on my laptop, so I'd be golden.
Oh God. See, cheesy.
All right. Question 5. You have $9.18 in your pocket. What all do you buy?
That's it. I don't have anything else for the rest of my life.
You know,
In this particular moment, ma'am, your house
You're
just
thinking-
burnt down, for Christ's sakes. So
So you have $9.18 in your pocket. You go to the store, you go to the convenience store, whatever it is. That's what
Okay.
you have to spend right now. What is Lindsay buying?
Food, probably something like food.
Okay, what food?
Yeah.
I would buy 9 hot dogs at $1 a piece and eat them all.
Wow.
And she's a cardiac nurse practitioner.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Holy shit. That's a whole nother episode to unpack right here. So a CHF specialist wants to eat 9 hot dogs
At one sitting.
at one sitting.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what do you put on your hot dogs?
Just ketchup and mustard. But since I've moved to Michigan, they have this like fancy sauce here. Conies. I've never had a coney before I came here.
Really?
Yeah, it's true.
Oh.
A coney is in like chili over the top of it, or what?
Yeah, I guess in Mass we don't really call them conies.
You just call them chili dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because
Well,
people in Michigan, they're the whole place. It just once you cross the border into Michigan, you're lesser. That's just how it is.
Well,
Yeah.
And if you're eating 9 hot dogs in one sitting, there's this contest that you should do every July.
Yes. Yeah, and guess what's going to happen later? You're going to fart when you're doing yoga if you eat 9 hot dogs at one time. So there you go.
That might have been my original problem.
Oh, well, see, there you go. See,
I guess I'm not really that exciting after thinking of those questions.
Jesus. I was honestly
Thanks,
surprised.
guys. I'm gonna go to what?
Yeah, I was really surprised she didn't say something like a 40 ounce and 2 hot dogs. Like, I mean,
It's $9. Like, what are you supposed to buy with $9?
that's
now?
the point, Lindsay. We're making you think.
I would go to the dollar store and get 9 things.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Then you have to tell us all 9 things. You don't want to go that route.
Yeah.
See, lots of people would be like, okay, I'm going to get a soda, or I'm going to get like a candy bar and this. We've had all kinds of answers. So, but hey, you know what? 9
hot dogs was original. That's a new one. Oh my gosh, this girl. Oh, she.
We can re-record.
Oh no! Oh no! That's in there. So
that is a hashtag 9 hot dogs.
Yes, exactly. Hashtag farting in yoga. Hashtag hot yoga pants. And I'll tell you right now, even if we did re-record it, the entire time I would talk about someone that once ate 9 hot dogs. So you can't get away from that.
I have eaten 9 hot dogs once.
Jeez. I don't think I've ever eaten 9 hot dogs. I did eat I know it was at least 13 tacos one time though in a sitting. So I mean that happens.
That's impressive.
They were really good tacos. So
And what's the saying about pizza? Like any pizza is a personal pan pizza if you try hard enough.
exactly, and I take that shit to heart. So
Me too. I can eat an entire pizza to my face, like a large.
oh yeah, we're going down.
Easy.
I would say, well, we could talk off the air sometime, Ben.
Tom, I think Lindsay is your spirit animal. That's what you know. That.
Lindsay's my spirit animal. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, this is a great first experience on a podcast.
Good. Or wait a second, was that sarcastic? Hey, wait a second, was that sarcastic? So
No, it was really fun.
Well, if you enjoyed this episode, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, all at Just Some Podcast. You can find us on the web at www.justsomepodcast.com, or you can email us, admin@justsomepodcast.com. Lindsay, where can they find you at?
You can find me at my website. It's www.yogahealthnurse.com or on Instagram at yogahealthnurse.
But her website only works if her computer's on. So
yeah, exactly.
It's on all the
Make sure
time.
24 hours a day.
Never leaves my side.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
there all the time. Even if my house is burning down, it's there.
Well, we know that's what you'd grab. So
Well, this was an interesting episode. I did learn some stuff on yoga, Tom, and that farting's okay.
yeah, farting's okay.
That's all I brought to the table in this huge yoga world. Oh my gosh.
Yes, there's a yoga hall of fame. You're going in it because you broke that barrier.
I'm going to get kicked out of Yoga Alliance and never get another job.
Did you just say Yoga Alliance?
Yeah.
There's a thing called a Yoga Alliance.
Yeah, it's a group, like, once you get your registered yoga teacher, that you can join it.
We learned more than that for anybody from the Yoga Alliance.
Yes.
Monitoring this episode, we
Yeah.
learned the importance of yoga and how it helps your joints and your mind.
Cardiovascular system.
And 9 hot dogs.
And 9 hot dogs.
And the ability to open your stomach to 9 hot dogs.
Yes, exactly.
You couldn't do that before yoga. See?
Yeah. I must be great at yoga. I can do that now. So
Well, Tom,
yes,
buddy, on that note, I hope everybody has a great week.
hey everybody, stay safe out there.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. 9 hot dogs. That's
I'm not gonna lie.
Come at me, bro.